Monday morning, we're in the warehouse with an order packed and ready to go. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a regular to watching our videos, welcome back. Thank you everybody for clicking on. I'll keep the introduction nice and short. My name is William and I run this business called The Attachment Company along with my fiancée Laura and my brother Andrew. With two locations, one here in central Scotland and one in Denver, Colorado, USA. The idea behind these videos is to take you behind the scenes of everything it takes to run our business, the day-to-day goings on, the products we sell, the things we're fixing, the things we're sending out, and 100 other things and whatever else you want to know. So it is Monday, we're in the warehouse. I packed up an order there this morning. I'll cut a wee video in here to show you. It's an Auger Torque 8000 max drive unit with a double pin cradle hitch. That was an order that came in Friday past. Needs to be the customer for tomorrow morning. There's a 450 S5 rock auger going with that direct from Auger Torque at Cheltenham. So that's done. That's all of the orders for today. Otherwise, we've got a couple of things to get back to some people and some things to plan out for the rest of the week. So I'm going to get this out. Palletways, I'll pick that up this afternoon. Then I'm going to get back to the office. Tuesday midday, we are not in the warehouse, we are in the forklift. Packed up one order this morning. I was out early doors, started it off, had a Teams meeting at 8, finished it and then back out and finished up this order. So it's an Auger Torque 4500 max package with a double pin cradle hitch and a 300mm tungsten auger for the customer's Takeuchi TB219. So that's the only order going out today. A bunch of inquiries to go through and some things to work on, so I'm going to get this out. Palletways, I'll pick this up this afternoon. I'm going to go get my lunch, get back in the office, and then I'll update you later on. Alright, it is 7 PM Tuesday evening, back up in the warehouse. Just finished my weekly Tuesday meeting with the USA team, with Andrew and the folks over there. So I say the folks over there, Andrew. So that's every Tuesday, so I'm back up in the warehouse. Need to get some more progress made on this little breaker repair from last week. I'm going to get that up onto the forklift, get working on it, try and get it back together tonight because I'm worried we're taking way longer than we should to get it done. I know the customer, I know he'll be okay, but that's not the point. It needs done, it needs out of here, so that's why we're back up at this time. I'm going to get it up in the forklift. I'll show you where we're up to for the benefit of you watching on the week to week. If you're watching the whole video, obviously the whole disassembly and reassembly video, you'll know exactly where we're up to. While I'm setting this camera up, for those of you watching on the week to week, if you have not seen last week's video, we started the reassembly of the little GB hydraulic breaker. I've said it before last week, I'll say it again just now. We are going to do a full standalone video just showing the disassembly, the repair and the reassembly of this breaker. But for you folks just now, we'll cut a little bit of footage in here. Basically we've rebuilt, we've resealed the main breaker component. I'm going to get it up here now, going to torque up the tie rods. Then we can look at getting it back in the box and getting it resembling a breaker again and hopefully get it ready to test in the morning. It is now 8 PM Tuesday evening. We're finished up in here. We've done as much as we can with this breaker. It's back pretty much together, resembling a breaker, ready to test in the morning. I'm ready for my dinner, so that is all for Tuesday. Wednesday morning, we're back in the warehouse and it's a first for us. A G-rake order. This is the first one that we will be sending out to a customer. If you watch some previous episodes, you'll know we get a 120 and a 150. Just to try them out, we got them at the end of last year. The plan was to take this 120 and actually go and do some demo videos and things with it, but somebody called, we made a deal on it and it's pretty much ready to go. So We'll use the 150 for that, we'll let this 120 go and they'll be replaced for stock anyway. But pretty cool to see the first one of these leaving here. So let me quickly give you a look around. So this is a G-Rake GR120, the 120 being the width, 1.2 meters, 1200 wide, with a bracket on it for a customer's Takeuchi TB219. It's more or less ready to go. We've drilled this bracket out this morning, bolted it up, a pair of hoses to go and get for it, otherwise it is ready to go. You can just about see the rotor there with the Hardox tips on it and the roller at the back. Really nice to get a sale for that, start getting a little bit of traction with the G-Rakes. As I said, it's pretty much ready to go. I just need to go and pick up a pair of hoses, put our sticker on it, wrap it up, and it'll be ready to go this morning. And I know this is a fairly new attachment to us, so I'll cut some footage in here, or maybe we'll cut the full video over to some footage of one of these working on a little 3-ton Takeuchi, give you an idea of what they are about. However, I'm not entirely sure this morning's weather is conducive to that, but it's going down to a customer in the north of England that's prepping a load of sites for turf. So they've got topsoil they put out, they're going to run the G-Rake over it, prep it for the turf, and then turf it. So yeah, pretty cool. We'll grab the hoses for this, we'll come back, we'll fit them up, and we'll get this out. Hoses collected, now let's get them fitted and get this out of here. While I'm fitting these, I know I spoke about this a few weeks ago, but just I went and picked these up from Bryson Tractors. They're handy, they're local. I'll show you a quick look around their shop here. So thanks to them for making up the hoses, but got me thinking again about buying our own machine for a few factors really, price obviously being one of them. We include hoses with the majority of attachments that we sell, and more now we're selling attachments that don't come with hoses from the factory. The Auger Torque attachments that we pretty much built this business selling all come with hoses as standard from the factory, where a lot of the things we're selling now, the Cymex planers, the G-Rakes, the breakers come with hoses, but flails, tree shears don't come with hoses from the manufacturer. So I still like to supply our things with hoses for the customers. We need the best option for doing that, and I think at the moment spending what we're spending going to third parties and getting them made, along with the fact that it takes time out of my day to go and do that, when frankly I could be doing more productive things. I think we seriously need to look at buying our own crimper, our own swager. So I have got some options for the numbers for that. I'll run you through them maybe later on this week. I'm just waiting on another quote coming back. The one thing that's a little bit of a pain is obviously, as I keep going on about, the space in here. I don't really have room for it, but if it's a cost saving that we can make and we can in turn then pass on to the customer, then it's probably worth doing. As I say, I'll run you through the cost once I get the quote in. It'll undoubtedly be a cheaper way for us to make hoses, and once we get a bigger space to work out of, to be honest, it could even be something we offer as a service for locals, just to make hose assemblies and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But for the meantime, it is handy to have local places you can go and pick things up when you need it. I'm just going to cable tie these together. Then there's a pair of quick release couplers to go with it as well, and this will be ready to go. There we go, ready to go. Let's get it tied down to the pallet, wrapped up, and get this out of here. now is the moment of truth. Let's go and see if our little breaker repair has been successful. I've hooked it up to a Takeuchi TB219. It's the ideal size machine for that breaker. Hooked up the hydraulics. Now let's see if it makes a noise. I'm trying this at the exact same time I'm showing you, so this has potential to backfire on me, but hey, that's part of the fun, right? Success! Nice! Now I can grab the hitch bracket back off, get the pins welded in, grease the chisel up, and this will be ready to go. Right, order loaded for the day, SNT, I've been in for that. That'll get that out. I've been in the office for a couple of hours there, just getting some quotes done and getting back to some customer inquiries. Now it is about 4:30 PM, and this explains the benefit of living right next to the work, because my house is just over there and our warehouse is just down there. I'm walking back to the house just now. That's the benefit. The downside of running your own business is sometimes you forget the basic things, and in this instance, heating oil for the house. So I was in at lunchtime. It's a bit cold in here. Yep, that's why, out of heating oil. So I had to get an emergency delivery, so I'm running back down to the house just now to get that done, and then we'll see what else we can fit in before the end of the day. Thursday morning, we are quite clearly not in the warehouse this morning. That's because we're in Edinburgh, and we're on the outskirts of Edinburgh. Just ran over with a 150mm S4 rock auger for a good customer of ours. He's fairly local, so we had it in stock. I just threw it in the Jeep and thought we could take it over to him. So that was this morning's job. Dropped that off, just heading back to the office now. Couple of things to do in there. Then, we will go and finish up that little breaker job so we can get it out today, and then we'll see what else the day has to bring from there. The 150mm auger I just dropped off, as I've mentioned, is for a good local customer. They are doing work in Edinburgh Zoo. I will cut some footage in here, but the auger is working on a big fence clip post driver. I think in that video there it's on a tractor, but it's now on a big Bobcat track loader, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully we can get in there at some point and get some video of them actually working on site, but that's a little clip just now just to show you what they're up to. Fairly hard rock drilling, hence the need for the augers that we're providing. So, oh, there's a bus. Yeah, that's what we're up to this morning. It's Thursday morning, 9:30, and we are heading back to the warehouse. Alright, we're back in the warehouse. Flying visit because we need to go back out to the welders. We need to pick up, I was there on Monday, Tuesday I think I showed you that, I can't remember now. Dropped off a couple of parts there to get welded up for some log splitters, so I need to run back there and get them. But we're also going to get them to make a bracket up for a breaker. Took an order for a breaker the other day, which was much appreciated, and one we've been working on for a couple of months. I think the quote had been out since the end of December, so it was good to get that confirmed, but it does mean we now need to build the bracket. So I'm going to whip the top plate off the breaker, and here, take that over to the welders, pick up the parts that are ready to go, drop these parts off, and then we can take the afternoon for there. Breaker is out. Let me quickly give you a look around. This will be going out to the customer next week, so I'll give you a more detailed look around then, but it is a GBN 70TL, essentially just a bigger version of the little breaker we were repairing in the last couple of weeks. Got the plate off. We'll use this to make the bracket. I've just marked up where the front and the back is. We're going to do that just now. I'm going to get over with that plate, and some pin material, and I'll get back with the couple of pieces that we need to pick up as well. Let me show you what we picked up at the welders yesterday. Ignore that breaker, that's the one for yesterday. It was two of these little log splitter cone adapters. I need one of them for this morning's order, so I'm going to get that ready. I'll show you exactly what they're for. But first, I maybe better shift some of these breakers so I can get in and out the door. It is a little 200mm log splitting cone with a bolt-on adapter for a 65mm round. It's going on a customer's Auger Torque X2500. I know this only works if you're watching on your phone or your computer, but I'll link the episode up here where I go to the factory and I show you those log splitting cones being made. That one is ready to go, just need to get it on a pallet and get it out of here. I missed filming it there, but that is the little log splitter cone order out. Palletways picked that up this afternoon. So shout out Stuart Nickel Transport again for their service. Apologies for the lack of exciting content in the last day or two. It is what it is when you're running a business like ours. Some days you're just going to be spent in the office and trying to make sales and tidy things up and deal with a bunch of non-exciting stuff. But I was just thinking there, I was walking back up to load SNT and I was thinking about February as a whole. We've got what, 4 working days officially left of February, and it's been good. We've been busy, we've been plenty to do, but a small business with 2 of us in it, there always will be plenty to do. And we've quoted, I haven't checked it for certain, but I would willing to bet that we've quoted more this month than any other month before, which is great. We just haven't seen a lot of those get confirmed so far, so the signs are good, but it's been a bit of a mixed one for February so far. But it does only take 1 or 2 of those things to change the start of next week, and I'll be telling you a completely different story by the end of next week. But otherwise, it is Friday afternoon. We will be out tomorrow. There's a couple of things we need to get done. I'll show you that then, but unless anything unforeseen happens, that is us for Friday. Saturday morning, we're back up in the warehouse. It's a glorious morning and we've just finished the rebuild on this little GB breaker we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. It's ready to go. I'm going to take it out. Customer can pick that up the start of next week. That means we can get the video done on the full process of rebuilding this breaker. It might be done by the time you're watching this video. If it is, again, if you're watching on your phone or your computer, I'll link it up here somewhere. Otherwise, that's a good job done for this morning. Going to take this up to the top yard, leave it out for the customer for Monday. Then we've got another little job we need to do while we've got the digger down here. I'll show you that in a second. I've got a question for you. What happens when you put an auger drive this size, that's meant to go on a digger at least this size, on a digger that's this size? Well, you and I are about to find out at the exact same time. That is an Auger Torque 8000 Max. It's for machines sort of 6 to 10 tonne, and I've got it on a 1.9 tonne Takeuchi TB219. Let's see what happens first, and then I'll explain the method behind the apparent madness. Before I run this for the first time, and I promise you I'm seeing this at the exact same time you are, what do I think will happen here? I think if it turns, it will turn really slowly, but that'll be pretty much it. So let's find out. Yep, as I expected, it just turned really slow. Now, why would you want a drive that's way too big, theoretically, for the machine and turns very slow? Well, I will explain as soon as I can find a marker pen here. So we're doing this little test for a customer of ours who is planning to install screw piles with a mini excavator. The idea being that all he needs is torque rather than actual turning speed. He's not drilling holes, he literally is looking for power to put screw piles in the ground. So we wanted to see, one, what does it look like on a machine this size, and it is big, but we knew that, it is big and it is fairly heavy, and two, just how slow does it turn. So I don't know if you can see that from here, but I've marked one of the edges with some paint there because I couldn't find a white marker. I'm going to spin this for a minute and see just how many RPM we can actually get out of this. Now I know you probably couldn't see the mark on the drive, but I can. That was exactly 20 RPM, which is, to be honest, more than enough, I think. So that's a good test. Now let's see just how high we can get it on this machine. That is, well, I'm standing underneath it, so more than 6 foot in the air and 20 RPM, which should be ideal in this machine. I have one more test I would like to do. I want to measure the flow and the pressure out of this little machine. It would let us calculate the turning speed, but we can see that, but it will also let us calculate the theoretical max torque that we can get out of this drive. So I'm going to take some pictures for the customer here just now, then I'll hook up the flow and pressure testing gear. We'll check that as well. Before we test the flow and pressure on this, that's given me one more idea. That is a 350mm stump planer. That's the sort of size of stump planer we would put on that size excavator, a sort of 6 to 10 ton. However, we've got the big drive on the little machine. Let's put the big planer on it and see how it goes. Now let's find a tree stump. Yeah, this definitely got the thoughts going on what we can build with that information. However, that's for later on, that's for long term. I have hooked up the pressure test gear to the little digger. Ignore it, it's not the prettiest looking thing, but for the purposes of what we're doing here, it'll work absolutely fine. I'm just waiting on the hand unit charging, then we'll get it on, see what pressure we get out of this machine, and that'll tell us roughly what sort of torque output we can expect. Okay, we're hooked up. We're in channel 1, measuring bar. We've got the pressure test gear. We've got the flow meter on as well, but we don't have it hooked up because we don't really need to know that. Let's fire up the machine and see what we get. I'm going to try and hold this on while I work the foot pedal with my other hand. Put some revs on the machine, go again. See there, it was stalling out with full pressure on the foot pedal at 210 bar, give or take. Now how does that help us? Well, it helps us with the aid of this. I'll put it up here, but that is the torque chart for an Auger Torque 8000 Max, which is the drive unit that we've got on just now. And you'll see there, so I'm just reading it off my phone at the same time, you'll see 200 bar 6793 to 20 bar 7473, and if we split the difference between those two, crude maths is about 7,100 Newton meters. Now that's theoretical, completely theoretical maximum torque output from this drive at 210 bar when it's completely stalled out, i.e. being if you were to drive a ground screw in, which is what this customer is looking to do with this, if you drive it all the way and it stalls the drive unit out, you've put about 7,100 Newton meters of torque into that screw. That's theoretical, but it's going to be close enough. What we might do, we do have an Auger Torque product that's called the Insight. I'll put the details here, that can measure that in real time whilst you're using the drive. I've had a couple here, but I've never actually had the chance to put one on a drive and go and test it. We might get another one in, hook this drive back up, rig it all up and show you exactly what that looks like while you're using the drive. But for the time being, that's a pretty good test. The customer has said he needs around about 6,500 to 7,500 Newton meters out of, he was talking about a 3-ton machine, this is a 2-ton we're using, so if we can get a slight bit more pressure, you'll get a little bit more torque, because I think we've discussed it on here before, but torque, oil pressure, equals torque, oil flow equals speed. We could measure, in fact, just as a test, let's measure the oil flow on this, because the way we're rigged up here, we can just about do it, and then we'll see roughly if that matches the theoretical chart. I've got the same chart, the one we used for torque there, I've got the same one for speed. Let's roughly measure, let's accurately measure the oil flow, then we'll put that against the speed chart and we'll see if that measures or comes out roughly at the 20 RPM that we thought we were getting just by testing it visually. So yeah, let's try it. Okay, frankly, for our own curiosity, and well, just because we can, I've hooked up the oil flow sensor, both hoses on the drive unit. I'm just going to run the auger drive same as we normally would, but what it'll do is it'll now turn the drive, instead of stalling out, it'll turn the drive and it'll measure what sort of oil flow we're seeing as we're turning it at max revs. So let's give it a go. Right, let's call that 40 litres a minute. Let's pull the speed sheet up. Should probably have done that before I pressed record here, but never mind. 8,000 max speed, 40 litres a minute. This chart might not go low enough for that, but let's find out, or it doesn't. Yeah, I'll need to fill in the full chart here, because the one I've got only goes down to 70 litres a minute. But you can see there, 33 RPM. If we take that down to the oil flow that we are seeing, 40 litres a minute, 20 RPM, it's probably there or thereabouts. I'm filming this just now and I'll try by the time we edit this to get you a full chart to put in here. And I think it'll come out to, there should be no reason it doesn't come out to round about what we measured earlier, about the 20 litres a minute, sorry, the 20 RPM at 40 litres a minute. So that's pretty cool, that's actually good to know. If you're wondering about things like this for your machine, what to do is look up the spec. Here's the spec here for a TB219. You can see max auxiliary flow 40 litres a minute, which is exactly what we were seeing, and main system pressure 210 bar, which is pretty much exactly what we were seeing. So that's pretty cool to know this machine is flowing and making the pressure that it should, and also lets you see what that is actually like in principle, not in principle, in practice, sorry, as opposed to in principle. So yeah, I'm going to take another quick video of this with my phone, send it to the customer, and hopefully, if nothing else, this has been a good exercise for me to show you and for me personally, but hopefully it leads to a good inquiry and a sale with this specific customer. Alright, that's a good bit of progress made for a Saturday. There was one other thing I wanted to try and get done this weekend, and it was to roughly mark out our area for ScotPlant. I'll put a little screenshot in here of the rough area, but it's looking at it on a map and looking at it in person are obviously two completely different things. I hope my gran doesn't mind, I've used our driveway here, but I've roughly marked it out. It's from this corner to that fence, and then I don't know if you can see the tape measure running down onto the road there, onto the driveway there, where that bit of wood is. Back there somewhere, and then back up to this corner. Anytime we've done shows like this before, and for anybody that doesn't know, here's the ScotPlant details. It is the biggest construction show in Scotland. It's a biannual show. We missed it out 2 years ago, we're back doing it this year. But the last couple of times we've done it on a far smaller scale than this, and we've just kind of winged it when we got there. We've took what we took and just kind of set it up when we got there, but I think this time we've just got too many things to be able to do that. So I wanted to roughly mark it out, see approximately in my mind what it looks like. We do have a visit planned to the site for next week. I will of course show you that to even better see in the actual area what it looks like. But yeah, This has filled my mind with ideas. It's a weird shape because it's triangular. It's a lot of frontage, but then it does narrow down quite quickly at the back. So yeah, that's got me thinking, definitely. But I'm just waiting on Laura coming up. She's going to have a quick look at this. Then we need to go get some personal things done this evening. I will have a couple of things to do tomorrow, but it'll be nothing exciting, just some office stuff and some bits and pieces out here. So on that note, I'm going to end this week's video here. If you have made it all the way to the end, again, thank you very, very much. It is thoroughly appreciated. Let me know in the comments what you think of this week's video. These videos kind of are what they are. I don't always know what they're going to include at the start of the week. It is literally me showing you our week here and showing you what it's like running our business. So your feedback would be much appreciated to help improve these videos and make them as good as we can. But other than that, it's goodbye from me. Thank you again for watching. Hit subscribe down below if you don't mind. It does support the channel and allows us to keep progressing and improving these videos. So yeah, on that note, I will see you next week.